You think you may be storing your cards right, but are you really? Go look at your binder, box, or top loaders and look at it one last time before it slowly degrades, because card damage happens over time and you realize it when it was too late. Storage damage doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow and quiet process. You have your little curl here, a little scratch here, and the next thing you know, you pull it out for grading and it looks like a PSA 1. The worst part is some of the safe storage methods people preach about may be the ones that are causing more harm than good. I mean, some of the methods on this list you might have heard of in other videos, and I guarantee that there is one near the end of this video that even longtime collectors swear by. So let's fix your storage situation before there's no turning back. Alright, let's open with a threat you didn't see coming. It isn't the heat or the sun, we'll get there. It's the very plastic you're using. A lot of cheap sleeves and binder pages are made from PVC. Over time it breaks down and it releases chemicals right onto the surface of your cards. This causes cards to get sticky, cloudy, discolored, and brittle. Once again, these things take time and you won't notice for years. You seal a card away, think it's protected, but you're actually letting them sit in a slow release chemical bath. So, how do we fix this? Everything that touches your cards should be polypropylene. That plastic's safe because it's acid-free and is what museums basically trust to hold ancient papers. When you're buying sleeves, make sure it is acid-free and PVC-free. If a binder or a pack of pages doesn't say that anywhere, I'd assume the worst. Must be a big relief to get this one down, but the plastic chem bath is only step one because how you sleeve matters just as much as what you sleeve with. Okay, now this one people do too much or too little, but it's pretty simple. You should be penny sleeving everything, and I really mean it. If you care about a card, it should be sleeved. There's no excuse at all because penny sleeves are cheap. When you pull a card you want to protect, the first thing you should do is sleeve it right away to protect it from scratches. So next time, remember to pull it, sleeve it, done. But since we are on the topic of sleeves, also make sure to buy tight sleeves. When I first started collecting, I was using the regular penny sleeves, but they were a bit loose and awkward to sleeve and put in binders. Now, sure, you can get away with using the not perfectly tight sleeves, but it is like 10 times better to have a tight sleeve, and it makes it so much easier to put in a binder or drop right into a top loader. If you keep up this habit, I'm sure your cards will thank you, if they could speak. Now, here comes the age-old question. Should you use a top loader or a card saver? You're probably looking at your phone right now going obviously to a top loader, and if you did, you're actually wrong because there is no right answer for this one. All on preference. A card saver is more ideal because you can slide your cards in with no resistance. Because when you put your card in a top loader, your card isn't going to move, and usually you have to force it out by slapping your hand and letting the card slowly come out. And let me be clear, using a top loader isn't wrong, just a little dangerous, because if you're not careful, you can ding the edges or damage the card. So remember this, if you're a little rough with your hands, a top loader might not be for you. But if you're not and you trust yourself, use a top loader. Now, time to talk about the card dungeon. Binders are where the heart lies for most collectors. They're also where the little card demons come out to destroy your cards. So let's go through the binder mistakes to make sure you don't get any of those little demons coming. Let's start off with mistake number 1. We went over this earlier, but if you bought a binder off the shelf, make sure it's not PVC. If it is, as said earlier, you could be destroying your cards as we speak. So stick to PVC-free binders and go with polypropylene. On to the next mistake that we all made as kids, top loading pages. Top loading pages are the ones where you put the cards in at the top of the page. These are bad for many reasons. If you trip or hold your binder at an odd angle, all your cards will fall out. The answer to this is side loading pages. Gravity keeps the cards in their spot and not flying out of the binder. On to the last and most obvious mistake. Try to stay away from ring binders as a whole. The metal rings can damage your cards, and it's best to just buy side-loading ringless binders for your ease of mind. But if you do want the option of adding pages to your binder, use the D-shaped ring binders. Just remember not to overfill the binder or you will damage your cards. Applying these binder fixes is a total breeze, and it's the only way to rescue your collection from that slow, quiet, impending doom. Well, now you have flawless sleeves and a beautiful perfect binder, but your cards are still in danger from heat, humidity, and light. They don't care about your sleeves or binders, they go straight for the card. Let's tackle the first one, temperature. You want your cards stored at a stable temperature, so around between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 72 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. And the key word here is stable. If the temperature is not stable and is consistently changing, you're going to have moisture on your cards, and that will lead to a typical attic or garage collection. So just moldy and gross. The next one is humidity. You want to aim for around 45 to 55% humidity. If the humidity is too high, like above 60, your cards will absorb the moisture and end up curling. This can be seen with holofoil cards. When I first picked up some Black Bull and White Flare Ball cards, they were all curled pretty bad. Thankfully, this one isn't hard to fix as I just left them in my office in a less humid environment and eventually they went back to normal. So there are methods to fixing this out there, but just store them properly so you don't have to deal with that. Now, if it's too low, so under 30%, your cards will start to flake and crack, so be careful. As I previously mentioned, I store all of my cards in the office, so I've never had a problem with this. But if you're not with your collection and you want to be 100%, you can always buy some silica gel packs to absorb the humidity. I really do think that it is overkill, but if you're really worried, it is not that expensive. And finally, the last one, let there be no light. This one might be odd to people new to the hobby, but people deep in this hobby know what happens when you let a card sit in the sun. I know it is a trend right now to let your cards sit in the sun for months to get that cool fade or color change on your card, and some of them look really sick, but if you don't want your card changing color, you should keep it out of the sun. Now, I'm not saying if it stays in the sun for minutes it'll change, but if it sits for weeks, you're going to be in trouble. So just keep it out of the sun or use UV protection cases. This is the final tip for keeping your cards in good condition. Don't just stack cards or top loaders in a flat pile. The weight presses down on the corners and edges of everything underneath, and that pressure leaves dents and warps over time. It is just a real bad time for your cards. What you should be doing instead is keeping them upright in a cardboard storage box. And no, not a cardboard storage box they use for moving, a proper one meant for TCG cards. It really makes a difference. They usually sell them in big increments and it comes with dividers, so it's also good for organizing your collection. And I don't think I have to say this, but I know some of you are animals out there probably still doing this. Do not, and I mean it, use rubber bands for your cards. Sure, we did this growing up, but we also used to throw them in our bags or our pockets unprotected. My point is, it causes permanent damage to the card and the rubber can actually degrade and leave a sticky residue on the cards. I mean, it's completely free to avoid doing, and if you have your cards held hostage in a rubber band, go free them now. So, there you have it. Neglecting these simple storage tricks and your cards is invisible until it's too late. Polypropylene everything. Penny sleeve everything, side loading pages for your binders, control your heat, your humidity, and your light, and retire the rubber bands for good. You sick monster. None of these are expensive and it's just a matter of forming good habits. You'll be thanking me in 10 years when your cards are looking mint. Now, drop a comment, which one of these were you doing wrong? And don't lie, I already know at least one got you. And if you want more on mistakes, go watch my common mistakes every new collector makes video next. Take care of your cards. See you in the next one. Goodbye.